إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم اللهم تسليما كثيرا أما بعد. All praise to Allah and His praise and blessings and peace be upon our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his family, his companions and his followers until the day of judgment. I bear witness that Allah is the only one worthy of worship and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam his last and final messenger. My dear brothers and sisters, one of the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon us as human is intelligence. That He made us an intelligent creature. And intelligence, or al-aql, it's one of the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we should be thankful and grateful for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for it. Mutarrif, which is one of the great scholars of Islam, once said, ما أعطي العبد نعمة بعد الإيمان أعظم من نعمة العقل. That a person is not giving a more blessings thing after faith and iman, more than the ability to comprehend, is that intellect. Intelligence is one of the most blessing things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can give a person. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala basically expressed this in different ways in the Quran. And one of the ways that He expressed that, when He said, وَمَن يُؤْتَ الْحِكْمَةَ فَقَدْ أُوتِيَ خَيْرًا كَثِيرًا. Those who have been giving wisdom, they've been giving a lot of goodness. Al-Aqad, Al-Ustad Mahmoud Abbas Al-Aqad rahimahullah, made an interesting observation. He said, وَالْقُرْآنُ كُلُّهُ لا يذكر العقل إلا على وجه التعظيم أو في مقام التعظيم. He said the intellect never was mentioned in the Quran ever unless it was praised in a positive meaning or context. And al-ulama the Muslim scholars from a very old time discussed the issue of al-aql or intellect. And Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah said, وَالْعَقْلُ عَقْلَانِ عقل غريزي أي فطري وعقل مكتسب مستفاد. He said humans' intellect is of two forms. One that genetically you're born with it, you don't really acquire it, and another one that you can increase, you can acquire it, you can basically seek. And Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala, his Shaykh, supported that earlier, and he said, والصواب عند جماهير أهل السنة وهو ظاهر مذهب أحمد وهو قول أكثر الصحابة أن العلم والعقل ونحوهما يقبل الزيادة والنقصان. That he said, Ibn Taymiyyah, that this is what we know from the knowledge that we inherited from the companions of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the majority of Ahl Sunnah, and that's what our Imām Ahmad rahimahullah, the authentic narration from him suggested that intellect, something can be increased. Then he said something interesting after that. And he said, وَمَنْ جَمَعَ اللَّهُ لَهُ بَيْنَ الْعَقْلَيْنِ الْمَطْبُوعِ وَالْمُكْتَسَبِ فَقَدْ نَالَ خَيْرًا كَثِيرًا. Those who Allah blessed with both, that genetically they are intelligent, and also they seek to improve their level of intelligence, that been giving a lot of goodness. And Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah said, وَمَنْ جَمَعَ بَيْنَهُمَا أَقْبَلَتْ عَلَيْهِ جُيُوشُ السَّعَادَةِ. Those who develop their intellect, those who get smarter by the day, and they work on their intellect, and to be getting smarter by the day, while they are genetically smart as well, and have a common sense, because as you might know by now, common sense are not common. You know? So, but those who Allah bless them with common sense, then they are able to develop their intellect and learn more and to improve their ability to analyze and to see through things. They are the one who will live in complete happiness. And قال ونقص الرجل بنقص إذا انفرد نقص الرجل بنقصان أحدهما. Even if you lose one of these two forms of intellect, you still have one you can work on. Modern scientists, they have very similar approach, but maybe with the fancier words, and more deep analysis to the issue of intellect. So they said intelligence is it determined by genetic or by basically the other factors, environmental factors. And I'm not going to take you into this whole entire debate over this in this khutbah, but it's like basically like most of aspects of human behavior and cognition. Intelligence is a complex trait that influenced by both genetics and environmental factors. Intelligence is challenging to study. It is part because it can be defined and measured by different ways. Most definitions of intelligence include the ability to learn, the ability to analyze, to learn from experience, to adapt to changing environments, the ability to reason, plan, solving problems, thinking abstractly, and understand complex ideas. So it's a simple thing, and every one of us has a certain level of it, but we might differ. Many studies rely on a measure of intelligence to measure intelligence, and it's known to us as IQ, intelligence quotient, I think. Researchers also differ how much our genetics play a role in this. In some study that I have come across, they said that maybe up to 50% of our intelligence are genetically. And the other 50% is something that's influenced by, environmental factors. And some other studies suggested much lower numbers. And these studies, the difference between them looks like because of the way they conduct the studies and the way they analyze that. Anyway, so in any way, there is 50%, according to some, is based on something that you can work on and you can develop. And factors, that impact your intelligence as you grow. So it is strongly influenced by environment factors, like what? The child home environment and parenting, education, the ability basically to be receiving a good education, if you have access and sources to good education. Also, good nutrition, among other things that contributes to intelligence. And I know this is summer, and we have, mashallah, long days in the summer, and I want to make sure that we don't get dumber in the summer. We want to get smarter in the summer. And I make sure that our children and our family and our community to be smart and intelligent during the summer. So these are a few points I'm gathering for you today to reflect upon and to use so we can make this summer and a chance for us to get smarter. And one of the things that I'll start with that the ulama rahimahullah spoke about, and it makes perfect sense. They said one of the things that affect intelligence is taqwa Allah, is the conscience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The good deeds that you do and staying away from the haram. Why? How? Intelligence is a blessing from Allah. It's something that Allah bless you with. And no doubt, the blessings of Allah are protected by righteousness. And you lose the blessings of Allah, the more you sin, the more you turn your back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the more Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take it away from you. And you might say, Sheikh, I know guys who are kuffar, don't even believe in God, not only doing sins, and they're very smart, their IQ is very high. But you know what? What's the benefit of intelligence? That it will not lead to Allah. That intelligence would lead to being away from Allah. What kind of intelligence that lead to hellfire? What kind of a smartness that will lead to the denying the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? That's a curse. That's not intelligence. And also we know that any blessings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's not only protected but increased by shukrillah, by being grateful and thankful to Allah. We know part of our religion teach us that we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect our strength. And no doubt, intelligence is part of your strength. Allah كان من دعائه صلى الله عليه وسلم متعنا بأسماعنا وأبصارنا وقواتنا. Let us enjoy this, our strength. The strength of your mind is so important, and even more important than the strength of many of of your muscles. Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah said something interesting. He said, وَلَقَدْ رَأَيْتُ مِنْ فَوَائِدِ غَضِّ الْبَصَرِ أَنَّهُ يُقَوِّي الْعَقْلَ وَيَزِيدُهُ فكلما غض العبد بصره عن محارم الله أطلق الله نور بصيرته. ومن هذا جمع الله في القرآن بين آية الله نور السماوات والأرض وأن نوره في القلوب كنور المشكاة في البيوت بعد آية غض البصر. That Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah said that one of the things that you have noticed that increase the intellect, the ability to analyze and to see things and to basically see complex matters and analyze them correctly, is the ability to protect your gaze from seeing what is haram. And he mentioned something interesting that he said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah An-Nur, after he talked about the order of lowering your gaze. Later on, a few verses later, he mentioned the verse when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, the light of Allah is the example of the light of Allah in the heart of the believer, like the light of the candle in the dark room. Another point that it will help us to get smart. قال أبو حاتم البستي رحمه الله أنه من علامات زيادة العقل معاشرة العقلاء. Abu Hatim al-Busti rahimahullah said, one of the things that increase your intellect is to be surrounded with intellectual people. Make sure that you and your children, your family, hang around people who are intellectual or basically intelligence. Don't look to the weakest of mind and be around. You need the sharpest mind to be around. That will increase your intelligence and make you smarter. يقول محمد بن أبي مالك الغزي قال سمعت أبي يقول جالس الألباب أصدقاء كانوا أو أعداء فإن العقول تلقح العقول. They said that sit and be around, be in the company of friends or even an opponent who's smarter than you or someone who's smart. Even your opponent, you should choose someone, who is smart, because that make you sharp. And one of the things that Umar ibn Abdul Aziz rahimahullah said, if you want your child to be smart, make sure that he or she be around smart people, smart teachers. That will absolutely increase the level of intelligence of the person. And on the other hand, if you hang around people who are weak in mind, who are, not intelligent at all, and you hang around for a long time with them, you became like them. يقول شعبة عقولنا قليلة فإذا جلسنا من هو أقل عقلا منا ذهب ذلك القليل. Shu'bah rahimahullah said, was a great scholar in hadith, he said, if you around people who have a weak mind, you will be like them. And whatever level of intelligence you have, you will lose it. That's why Imām ibn Hazm rahimahullah said, if you want to have someone to hang out around and to be with, إذا أردت أن تصحب رجلا فاسحب رجلا فيه خصالا خمسة ذكر منها أن يكون عاقلا حسن الخلق غير فاسق ولا مبتدع ولا حريص على الدنيا. He said one of the first quality of someone that you should look for to be your friends, to be someone that you spend much time with, someone who's intelligence. Your intelligence is measured by those around you. If you spend your days with people of weak mind, you sell your own fate. Number 3, one of the things that it will help you to increase your intelligence and to grow smarter, what Ibn al-Jawzi rahimahullah said. He said, إن العقل ينمو بالتعلم والتحصل والدربة والمران كالجارحة التي تكسب المهارة من دوام العمل. Ibn al-Jawzi said, your brain is like your muscle. The more you exercise it, the more it gets better. The more your muscle becomes stronger. And the more you use your brain, the more your brain will be alive. That's why it is so important for you to use your brain more often, to memorize more, to read more, to basically try to remember more, rely on your memory more, focus more, analyze more. You know, one of the things that we have these days, even they have games that call brain games. It's just to exercise your brain. And they might not beat your game, your PS4, especially for my young audience here. But you know what? They still are important because it will help you to develop your brain. And there's so many studies shows that actually it's improve your IQ. And people like brain games in general. And some of them you can even download in your iPhone, in your smartphone today. And you basically exercise your brain in a daily activity. This is just one of the way you can do. And I'm amazed by some of these websites that, for example, just one website of these brain games have more than 50 million, prescribers. 50 million just prescriber to just one of these websites. It is important also, as you train your brain and you learn more and you acquire more knowledge and you read and you develop yourself, don't ever think that you're smarter than everybody else. A lot of our young people today, especially in your teenage, think that you know everything. Or maybe because not a teenager person, also those who reach a great level of ilm, studies. MashaAllah, master his area. He thinks that he knows everything about it. The moment you say, I know everything, the moment you're ignorant. Thinking that you're smart and can be thinking that you're smarter person in the world, actually make you stupid. Make you less smart. Research conducted by Stanford University psychology professor Coral Dweck. I thought Dweck in the beginning. Hopefully, soon we get that too. So she said that praising people for their intelligence rather than their effort can make people perform poorly over time. That's a very interesting conclusion. It's a difference. You should not just praise, they're so smart. Sometimes we tell our kids, you're so smart, or you tell us, smart. That doesn't help. What helps is to, you have a confidence that you're smart. You make sure your children are smart, but you praise their effort. Those who reach to a point with we call them fixed mindset versus growth mindset. Make sure that you have a growth mindset. Make sure children always hear that from you, that they should have a growth mindset. One of the things that make you smarter as well is consulting smart people, consulting people of experience, consulting people of wisdom. The more you sit with people or consult them and take their advice, the more you yourself develop. That's why I'm telling my young audience here today, since it's the summer and a lot of you here, make sure that you don't ever think less of your parents. They have much experience and much to offer. One of the early scholars said, الرجال ثلاثة, people are one of three. رجل ونصف رجل ولا شيء. They said a person, half a person, and not a person at all. He said the complete person is the one who Allah give him intellect. He's intelligent, but he also consult intelligent people. And the half is the one who have intelligence and he never consult others. قال لا يشاور أحدا. And the one who's nothing, the one who have no intelligence and he doesn't consult intelligent people. Also, one of the things that it help you to grow smarter is to learn from your experience. Make sure that you always constantly reflect on your experience in life. Make sure that you always don't let an experience go, an incident go, without reflecting upon that. Even wrong or correct, right or wrong, that will help you to develop yourself. Abu Hatim al-Busti rahimahullah قال لا يكون المرء بالمصيب في الأشياء حتى تكون له خبرة بالتجارب وكانت العرب تقول العقل بالتجارب Intelligence is based on experience. One of the things that also this Ibn al-Qayyim talk about, which I found it very interesting. He said, one of the things that make a person's weak mind when you talk too much. قال فضول الكلام وأربعة تزيد في العقل ترك فضول الكلام. If you want to be smarter, talk less. Those who talk a lot and talk, they are less intelligent. And that's very true. And I don't think only talking too much, I think sleeping too much, eating too much, looking at too much haram and things like that, hearing all thing kind of thing, anything exceed the limit, it is harmful. But what's interesting, you're all familiar with talk shows. That's right. There is a study was made by Australian University about those who follow reality shows. Have nothing better in life except to watch reality shows on people doing their personal life and talk shows. Actually, the study shows that those who perform very poorly, those who for 3 consecutive days were watching, talk shows in certain amount of hours, versus those who don't know talk shows and reality shows. So watching, Judge, whatever her name is, it's not going to make you a smart judge, for reality shows. Use your brain more than your gadgets. We are relying on so much of a smartphone that make us not smart. And I'll tell you 2 things you can do about smartphone have a great benefits. Don't misunderstand me. I have one. If it's not 2. Okay? I have only one. But it's a great benefit. But there's 2 things try your best to avoid. Because if you try to avoid them, it actually makes you smarter. Number 1 is using calculator to do math. I seen somebody pulling his iPhone to calculate 10 times 4. I said, why? He said, so I don't make a mistake. You're making a mistake, buddy, by doing that. I'm serious. Even if it has multiple numbers, try to use your brain. Then you can go to the calculator. It doesn't matter. Try to do the adds up, but don't use the calculator right away in your smartphone. The other thing is using search engines to retrieve information instead of storing the information in your head. Try your best to remember. Wallahi, I have seen people in their own neighborhood using, Google Map. They're not trying at all to remember the road. And there is tons of study shows that actually exercising your brain in these things help you to avoid a lot of problems and complications as you grow older, like dementia and other things. Does playing video games and watching TV make you dumber? So let's talk about dad. This is a common notion, but sorry parents, including myself, is not true. There's no any actually record shows that playing games, video games, make kids dumber. There's nothing like solid to make this as a fact. But hey, don't misunderstand me to get too excited, my young, sons here and daughters. Now, actually, there is other harm, like social harms, the health harms. But intellectually, actually, there is the contrary. There's a lot of studies, and I give the due for my sons, Umar and Khalid. They're the one who always keep me, Dad, that's false information. Games do not make us dumber. And actually I went and started searching that, and I found that they're correct. They're smarter than me about this. But there is other issues with it, like has to do with social, even there is social benefits, but there is other issues, and that's not the khutbah about. But actually it does not. But what is important is to watch this. What makes them dumber is not the game or the TV. What makes them dumber when your kids want your attention and you don't want to give it to them, so you tell them, hey, take the iPad, or play my phone, or go watch the TV. That making your kids dumb by doing that. When you don't listen to them, when you don't talk to them, when you think that babysitting it means is for them to watch a TV. not to have any activity or reading or coloring or any kind of interactions or talking to them. That will make your kids not very smart. So that's something that you should be aware of. But also some TV shows can actually make kids less intelligent. In 2011, a study was made in the General Pediatrics showed that children who watch fast-paced cartoons, like SpongeBob in particular, it was mentioned, perform very poorly in mental tests. And you can just, Google that. There's a very interesting, research about this particular shows and what was the results about it. No doubt one of the things that help you a lot to get smart, reading. Reading is an unbelievable tool for developing your intellect. Read a little every day. What amazed me when I was reading about this, that there were so many studies made and shows something interesting. They said, it doesn't matter what you read actually. Just reading, even if what you read is a very simple thing, is not a very intellectual thing, it helps your intellect. It makes you smarter. So yes, regardless of the content, reading increases your intelligence. And there is many papers was made or done in this area. I highly recommend you to start researching the relationship between reading and, how that increase your intelligence. Because when you read, you analyze, you pause, you think. And one of the things that they said is called a mental discipline, where you can make your mind disciplined by focusing on reading. And they said to be effective, you have to have several pages. When I read this, I said to myself, subhanAllah, in our deen, we should read Quran every day. And we focus. And we should reflect. And we read and we analyze. The Quran meant to reflect upon. And that's the best exercise you can do. And the best point that everybody talk about when it comes to how to get smarter. It enriches you with vocabularies. We're analyzing with critical thinking. It's amazing impact on you. It's a very good exercise for your brain. And remember, when you read Quran, every letter you get 10 hasana. Not alif, lam, mim, alif, and lam and mim, that's 30 hasana. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala يجعلنا وإياكم ممن يتدبرون ويعقلون وصلى اللهم على محمد. Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man walahu ba'd. One thing that I would recommend very quickly, since the time is over, to do in the summer to make you smarter, try to study a second language. It's easy to be said than to be done. But learning a language represents one of the top things that make you smarter. Studying language proves challenging the most, and it's very challenging to the people. But the good news is this: studying the language does not help you to get smarter by mastering the language. Even if your language is so broken and poor and worse than my Spanish. Okay? Which is, I don't think there is lower than that level. Okay? So, if you just put the effort, even if you don't do anything, if you don't develop yourself, if you don't